Joe Biden is going to ruin the cannabis industry. His plan, if he ever actually becomes president, will instantly criminalize everyone in the industry, while technically still making it legal. And if you give me a second, I can explain how. Of the 823 people who filed to run for president with the Federal Election Committee, there are only 22 Democratic candidates left, and by the time this comes out, I'm sure there will probably be a lot fewer. But of those last remaining Democrats, most of whom are ignoring their actual duties in Congress in their attempts to secure the highest office in the country, one of them is planning on destroying a projected $55 billion cannabis industry. And that person is America's favorite reformed segregationist who also has a black best friend that he loves to remind you about. I'm talking about Joe, there are at least 3 genders, Biden. Your man Joe, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Currently, marijuana is a Schedule I narcotic, making its sale federally illegal as it has been found by the United States government and the DEA as having a high potential for abuse, along with drugs like heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. The scheduling of drugs came from a nearly 50-year-old piece of legislation called the Controlled Substances Act, where everything from cocaine to diarrhea medicine is scheduled based on a potential for abuse and its medical efficacy. The scheduling classifications range from Schedule I, where marijuana currently sits, to Schedule V, where interestingly enough, specific formulations of CBD and cough syrup with small amounts of codeine exist. And where a substance is currently scheduled determines the legality of its sale and how much access to that substance someone can have. Joe Biden's plan for cannabis is to change its current status as a Schedule I narcotic to a Schedule II, which would technically legalize it, but not in the way that we understand marijuana to be legal today. Schedule II narcotics include drugs like cocaine and fentanyl, as well as ADDERALL and codeine. And while pharmaceuticals with a Schedule II classification can be legally bought and sold, those transactions only exist through highly regulated markets and only after someone obtains a prescription from a medical professional. This plan cannot work for marijuana because there is no other substance like it. Not only is there an almost 30-year-old fully functioning medical market for weed, but there is a fully functioning recreational market as well. And once marijuana is reclassified as a Schedule II substance, all of that comes to an end. Biden would give federal jurisdiction over all marijuana to the FDA, and the only place you could legally buy weed would be at a pharmacy after you've gotten a prescription. Joe Biden would create the big pharma equivalent of cannabis. The state-level legal cannabis markets, as we know them right now, flawed as they may be, would be shut down. The tax revenue that has built schools and resurrected towns, the influx of jobs, and the life-changing therapeutic relief brought to tens of thousands of Americans would all come to an end. The only way for the industry to carry on as it does now would be for cannabis to lobby for the same explicit exemption from the Controlled Substances Act that the alcohol and tobacco industries currently have, where alcohol and tobacco aren't listed as scheduled controlled substances despite their lethality and widespread abuse. And that probably won't happen since cannabis as an industry is nowhere near as politically powerful as tobacco or alcohol. I mean, they literally print the American flag on beer cans in the summer. And for all of the equity programs that are designed to make marijuana accessible and right some of the wrongs of the drug war in the past, all of those efforts would come to an end. While Vice President Biden has gone on the record saying that no one should be in jail for cannabis use, and his campaign has told the press he believes that we need to do more in researching both the positive and negative impacts of weed, his plan wouldn't accomplish that. Even with its status changed to being a Schedule II drug, the plan would all but guarantee reduced research initiatives and encourage more selective prosecution and expand a black market that still exists. America, we need to make sure that Joe Biden doesn't completely derail a $55 billion industry that has actually saved lives. And if you agree, then go to joe30330.com and help me in this fight. Good night and God bless.
What's Joe 30330?
In the debates, he was supposed to say text Joe 3330, but he actually said go to joe330.com, and because you know he's fucking old.